Yo, guys, what's going on? Coach Jamie here, and I am so excited to have you here listening to my podcast, Make Time for Your Mind with Coach Jamie, where we will be talking about all things mindset, vulnerability, personal development, ways we can become better individuals. And sometimes in that process, we'll get heavy, sometimes we'll have fun, and sometimes I will be challenging your perspective. The goal, no matter what, though, is to leave you better than you were before you tuned in. So, with that being said, let's dive in. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Make Time for Your Mind with Coach Jamie. It has been a minute, but I am back with a fourth season to the podcast that I never even wanted to start. So, if you've been listening for a while, thank you so much for just being a part of the journey. And if you are new here, welcome and buckle up because I'm about to do something a little bit different than what I usually do within my podcast. So, still very much going to make sure that we like land some planes and have some call to actions and just really do things to make you think. But I have been in a journey this last year of just really developing in a new way as we all should be growing, right? And so I've started to like soften a lot more. And although I have a pretty big testimony, even though I believe that we all do, I've never really truly been vulnerable with people because I've always found a way to be in control of my vulnerabilities. And I had it brought to my attention a couple different times not too long ago is that people are like, Jamie, you're just happy all the time. So I don't think it's just really like relatable. And I'm like, oof, no, like I don't think you understand. Like it's really hard. And choosing to be happy is something that I've really had to literally just do that is choose because that is not my natural state of thinking. And so in that, like I've just decided to really like let go a little bit more and allow myself to truly soften a little bit. So I know it's a little cheesy. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna kick off episode 1 since we are so close to the holidays. I would like to make this the little Christmas edition. Hence the sweatshirt. Shout out to Elf. Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad. So 'tis the season to be jolly, ho, 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 and stuff. It's the most wonderful time of the year, but for so many, it's not. I put this in a recent post or that I had made, and that if given the option, 45% of people would just skip over Christmas altogether. A lot of people just are kind of burnt out on the hype of just the commercialism of it all. But also a lot of people are like stressed of all the places that they have to go or like all of the deadlines that they have to hit, which it's like they can't fully be present with their family because of the work, or they're trying to use work as their coping mechanism because they don't want to be around family, but they feel obligated to do it, right? Like there's just so many layers here. And if you follow my content, I have posted about this a lot that statistically speaking, this is the highest rate of depression and suicide out of any other time of the year. And it's just so crazy to me when, again, this is supposed to be the most wonderful time. I think why that happens, and I even know that this has been something of my own journey, is like growing up with all of these Christmas movies and like these Hallmark movies of just these fairy tale scenarios that play out of this perfect family that all gets along and like everything is just perfectly in place and the best snowmen and the best snacks and all of these crazy awesome memories. And I think that a lot of that ruined a lot of holiday experiences for me because that was my expectation that was never met. And so anxiety and like loneliness and just like sadness would typically be something that would take over. So I'm going to go kind of heavy, but I promise I'll bring us back up about how we can kind of slow down. And no matter what personal season you're going through, whether this is a holiday time that you're actually looking forward to or not, I'm hoping and praying that this episode can kind of take some weight off your shoulders and just allow you to breathe and enjoy this season as much as what you can for what you can, no matter what it is that you're going through, whether this is like the year to finally have an awesome Christmas, or if it's just like, I need to get through it. So, in getting vulnerable, I've had a lot of really not so good holidays. I've mentioned this a few times too. I am single, never been married, don't have any kids, and I have a very large family. And so, one, that layer of always being the person that, like, even though I have a fun family, although, like, every family has its troubles, right? But, like, all of that is still sitting down at a holiday gathering. Like, everybody has their units. Almost like, when you go to your high school and you still have like your little cliques of people, like, everyone still had the natural pull of who they would go to within the family, because that's like their little team, their little community within the big community of the family. And that was never me. So when there's these like little one-off moments of people broken into their little family moments of celebrating something together, it was kind of just me. So I've had many seasons or holidays that I have felt very lonely because of that. I also had situations where, well, not situations, a situation. One of the times that I was in a relationship around the holidays, it was a very, very toxic situation. So one, there was already this twisted form of like love and appreciation, but then also like the person, it got so bad, it was to the point that they weren't allowed to come. So then it was like me grieving the fact that here was this unit I was trying to form and they weren't allowed to be a part of it. So then that was a different level of loneliness of trying to have that, but still didn't get to. I have also had many, unfortunately, experiences of death where it was grieving the loss of a loved one and how weird it felt not having them present for the first Christmas. So that type of grief. The heaviest one that I have experienced many, many times. It's part of why I do what I do. I am somebody who has attempted to end their life on multiple occasions, years prior. But because I experienced that loneliness and that it felt in that moment that it would just be better if I wasn't here, because the pain just hurt so bad. So that level of loneliness. And I have even had some of them where I isolated so much that I quite literally spent Christmas, Thanksgiving completely by myself. So if you have ever felt lonely, if you've ever felt frustrated with family members, if you've ever been grieving loved ones around the holidays, I'm not going to say that I understand your situation, but I can at least relate. So unfortunately, but fortunately, you're in good company, that you're not the only person that's feeling that way. So all of that to say, this year is kind of a little bit of a shift, but I think it's because of just, again, that deepening and that layer to me that I've started to open up more and how I'm choosing to perceive the holidays. And I think the first thing that we have to do is that we have to slow down and we have to simplify. Like, chaos is always around us. We always are busy with something. And I think that we hear it all the time to slow down, but how many of us are actually making that attempt to? It's either that, one, we don't actually want to do it, because we don't have to want to face words. We don't want to have to actually sit and face our own demons. Or two, it's that we don't want to have hard conversations. So we run in the opposite way of being busy and having all these places to go. Or three, it's that we are so tied to our worth and our job and money and the type of gifts that we can give people, the places we have to go, the lives we can portray on social media, that we are just so stressed and we're trying to do all of the things to make it look a certain way when deep down that's not matching. And so slowing down is something I think we need to practice more as a society anyways, but especially around this season. Like, I've gotten like so ooey gooey where like I don't even know. Like, I always used to have family members who would, not family members, everybody would call me like the Grinch because I was just such a control freak. And like, I just always had this chip on my shoulder and was like super bitter. and found the most negative outcome to every situation. And like now all of a sudden it's like, Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? I got a whopping 40 minutes of sleep last night. Let's wrap presents. And I've cried like every single day since Thanksgiving of just fully leaning into all of the things that I'm thankful for. Mind you, there are a lot of things behind the scenes that old Jamie right now would be completely destroyed by and not wanting to face the holidays or even try to attempt to put that I was doing okay. I would attempt to put that mask on. And like now I'm not. I'm like, you know what? Like I have a choice on what I'm going to do here. And I want to be able to slow down and appreciate whatever it is that I can. A couple of friends of mine and I hadn't hung out with them in a really long time. And we went to this place near me called The Square, which is like a town next to us. And it's like their whole little main block of a neighborhood. And they did like a Christmas tree lighting. And it was like a countdown from 10. And then like the whole city lit up in like lights. And I just started crying like, this is so cool. It was such a cheesy moment, but it was because I allowed myself to slow down and just be in that moment. Like the stress of everything else was going to be happening anyways, but like allowing myself to just fully be in that moment was a very beautiful thing. So, again, slowing down. I feel like I'm just a broken record, but maybe the more and more that I say it, the more it can sit with you that you can do that too. And, you know, again, whether it's loneliness or if it's like grief, it's how we choose to spend that moment. Like the emotions are going to come and go. And like, how can you address those? But how can you just like allow yourself to slow down and be like, okay, Christmas does only come once a year. Like how you set the tone, like, right? How is it that you want this holiday season to go? There's a lot of things that are outside of your control, right? Like family members or work demands or, you know, health situations. Like there's a lot of that we can't control, but what we can is what we do with that information. So it's like, how can I embrace this holiday season to be as best as what it can? If I don't have any places to go, who can I reach out to so I don't have to spend Christmas alone? That is a hard level of pride to chip away, by the way, but it's a beautiful thing when you do get vulnerable, as I'm learning more and more, to just simply say that of not wanting to be alone, or like, how can you maybe send out a message and thank somebody for just being a support system in your life? Or how is it that you can approach work and be like, you know what, although this sucks and this is really demanding, I'm so grateful that like I have this job. If right now you don't have a job, it's like, okay, well, I'm so grateful that I'm having this moment to learn more about myself, keep putting forth the effort to get a job, but then can also use this time even more to spend some quality time with the people around me. If you're grieving the loss of somebody, or not having somebody there, is like getting the opportunity to think of the memories that you have had with people. Because although I know that in some of our stories, there are a lot more negative experiences than there are good, but I promise that there are good ones there if you choose to see them. You just have to break past that salty Sally thinking to be able to embrace that. So yeah, all of the feels, right? It's Christmas time. It's a tough time, but it still is a beautiful time. And no matter where you stand, like within your faith, like I think that's something that is a big part of my life that has also given me this opportunity to experience peace and joy like I never have before, is leaning in so much to my faith. And even simply as that, like if you don't have this awesome scenario playing right now, like the scene of what took place this time of year, like slowing down to really embrace that like it was this cold, dark, just lost type of journey of this miracle happening of this baby that is going to be born, which was God putting himself down into human form as a baby to then some grow one day to be able to pay for all of our sins. And so just really embracing that season to know like just the miracle of that, the journey of that, and how uncommon that was in a scenario of what this Christmas spirit and all of the luxury things is meant to represent. Just something as beautiful as this peaceful night in a manger where the journey began for like all of our lives to be saved for not just here, but eternity. So, welcome to season 4. I want to leave you with a call to action. because I refuse to ever walk away from this without it. I want to challenge you to find a way to feel connection, because I think that when we're stressed, when we are grieving all of the things, it's our heart is craving connection in some way, shape, or form. So whether it's connecting to your heavenly Father, whether it's connecting to family members or friends, whether it's connecting to your sense of purpose, whether it's connecting to some good memories, I want to challenge you to find a way to feel more connected by slowing down this holiday season. So the call to action: how will you create connection this holiday season so that it can go how you want to choose for this holiday season to go? I hope you all have a Merry Christmas, and I will see you on the next episode.